At breakfast. Podcast.
Hello and welcome to episode 214 of the best bits of the Atom Radio Breakfast Show. And this is Mark Denholm from the Breakfast Show. And wow, what a week it's been for me. My son gave me a cold and I've sounded varying degrees of ropey all week long, which is a bit of a nuisance. What that does mean is that translates into the podcast as well. So I apologise now for the varying degrees of ropiness in my voice. However, on the way in the best bits this week, hair today, gone tomorrow, relationship requests, things you'd pay someone else to do, what do you know now you wish you'd known at 18, friends, borrowing, and a shopping rip-off, all on the way in episode 214 of the podcast.
Mark Denholm. At breakfast. Podcast.
18 minutes to 8 o'clock morning. Welcome to Monday. Mark Denholm at breakfast. Salty or spicy snacks can be used as antidepressants. If you're not feeling great today, go and have a bag of salt and vinegar crisps or something. The pleasure centres in your brain make you crave them more. And in other news, according to scientists, men who grow beards easily and earlier in life have been found more likely to go bald. Now, I could, at an early age, grow a beard, and quite a substantial beard, and I have gone bald. Maybe, that is true.
This is Mark Denholm.
At breakfast.
Atom Radio.
Today, we're asking, if you are single, would you rather settle with someone who doesn't tick all the boxes than be single? Or would you rather be single than settle with someone who doesn't tick all the boxes? And it is a very, very deep and meaningful question. Now that I sit and I think about it, it's slightly more deep and meaningful than I intended for it to be when I'm looking at some of the emails so far as well. There's a lot more in this than I thought. However, morning Jay and happy Monday to you. Jay says, it totally depends on what your boxes are that you want ticked and whether or not they are reasonable. And it also depends if you can put into the relationship what you want out of the relationship from the other person, because any relationship is a partnership, and therefore if you're asking for someone who is rich, then theoretically you'd also have to be rich. If you're asking for someone who is beautiful, then you'd also have to be handsome. And if you're asking for someone who's into stuff that you're into, you'd also have to be into stuff that they're into as well. So as long as your boxes are reasonable, and as long as you have every ability to and intention to put in exactly what it is that you're wanting out, then yeah, you get your boxes settled. And you know, once all the boxes are ticked, then off you go and you have fun. But other than that though, you know, if you can't back up what you're wanting to pull out by putting in the same, then no, you are just being unreasonable and you deserve to be single.
Mark Denholm.
At breakfast. Podcast.
Welcome to Tuesday, and just like any given Tuesday, today has automatically become Top 5 Tuesday. And today we compiled the top 5 of things that you would pay for someone to do for you if you could afford for them to do so. This is because on the local My Neighbourhood app, I spotted someone over the weekend who'd wanted someone to come to my home and cook for me. All ingredients will be provided. And I was thinking, yeah, if someone would do that for me, I'd eat like a king, lunch and dinner every day. I don't really have time for breakfast because I start this at 6, so maybe a bit unreasonable to expect somebody to come and do breakfast before 6. But on the other side though, I'm thinking, yeah, that's a great idea. Really, really is. Today, I'm going to compile the top 5 of things that you would pay someone to do for you if you could afford it. On air at atomradio.co.uk. And we'll start with Sarah. Morning to you. Sarah is a lady after my own heart. Sarah says, if I could have someone come in and do anything for me, it'd definitely be the cleaning. I can't stand doing cleaning, but obviously it has to be done. And if I don't do it, nobody's going to do it for me. So therefore, I would quite happily, if I could afford to, pay someone to come and do the cleaning for me. You know what though, Sarah? When I was younger, my mum had hip replacement done. And during the time that she was recovering, she got a cleaner to come in and do the cleaning. And this was all well and good when she was recovering because she wasn't really very mobile. But then when she got back to being fully mobile again, she'd make sure, it was a Tuesday, funny enough, that the cleaner used to come. She'd make sure that she'd get up early on the Tuesday and have the place spotless before the cleaner came. And I said to her, Mum, why are you getting a cleaner come in when you've already done it? You've done her work for her, and then you're paying for her to come in and do what? I never got that, if I'm honest. I really didn't get that. But yeah, My mum did used to have a cleaner, but then clean up before the cleaner actually arrived.
Mark Denham.
At breakfast.
This is Atom Radio.
The top 5 for this week then of things that you would gladly pay someone else to do for you stacks up like this. At 5, cleaning. At 4, DIY. At 3, wash your hair the way the hairdresser does it, with the scalp massage and all. At 2, it's driving, because it's not as much fun anymore. And the top 5, number 1 this week of things you would gladly pay someone to do for you. Hold on the phone until somebody human actually answers.
Mark Denham.
At breakfast. Podcast.
Morning, 18 minutes to 7 o'clock. Mark Denham at breakfast, banging out the anthems on Atom Radio. And I hope that I find you well as we do Hump Day today. Bear this in mind, physical touch makes you healthier. Studies show that massages, hugs and hand-holding reduce stress and boost the immune system. Well, I never. So there you are. If someone says no thanks when you offer them a hug, just say, well, more for you. You'll be the unhealthy one.
Mark Denham at breakfast.
This is Atom Radio.
Morning, 14 minutes to 8 o'clock. If you're a football fan, this day, 1888, the English Football League is established. And on it goes. This day, 1942, the BBC began broadcasting in Morse code to the French resistance. I'm not sure that would have made award-winning television, however.
Mark Denham.
At breakfast.
This is Atom Radio.
What is something that you know now that you wish that you had known at the age of 18? On air at atomradio.co.uk. And earlier on, I empathised with John and I said, I bet a lot of men and a lot of ladies will completely agree with you. And I completely agree with Cam as well. Morning to you, Cam. Happy Wednesday. Cam says, I wish I'd learned at school about managing money. So when I first started to earn an amount of money at the age of 18 when I left school, that I wouldn't have squandered it all. And I took quite a while to learn how to manage money. But I think that maybe looking back, they should teach it more at school. They do some subjects that you never, ever, ever use in adult life. And yet they don't really teach you about managing money. And I don't know if they do now, Cam. I don't know. But I get what you're saying. You know, it should be something that you should learn. It's something that everyone is going to have to do. Not everyone is going to have to know Pythagoras' theorem or algebra. Not everyone is going to have to know French or Spanish or German. But everyone is going to have to learn how to manage money. Are they not? You know, you're going to get paid, you would hope, and you have to make that money last the month, paying your essential bits with a little bit left over for the, you know, the things that you want to do. And obviously, when you're 18, you get your first pay packet. Yeah, it's burning a hole in your pocket. And you're thinking, yeah, I can get this, I can get that, I can get this, I can get that. It would be very, very helpful if they taught money management at school. And yeah, looking back, Cam, that is something that definitely you would wish that you knew when you started earning.
Mark Denham.
At breakfast. Podcast.
Giving up alcohol for just 1 month can help improve even. Wonder if it could help improve speech, could help improve liver function, decrease blood pressure, and reduce the risk of liver disease and diabetes. And if you have a friend for more than 7 years, psychologists say that friendship will last a lifetime. Wow. I need to start counting, don't I? How long I've been friends with people.
This is Mark Denham.
At breakfast.
Atom Radio.
A lady has been branded selfish and a family argument has kicked off, all because she got married and now her brother's fiancé cannot afford a wedding dress and has asked to borrow hers to wear as her something worn. The lady has said no, absolutely not. And now she's added to it, after they've started calling her selfish and that, she's added to it, if you can't afford to get married, don't get married. I want to know, therefore, today, what would you never loan, or equally, what would you never expect to borrow? On air at atomradio.co.uk. Morning, John. Happy Thursday to you. John says, surely it has to be underwear, an answer to both. And I agree, John. I'm just struggling, though, here to think of a reason. Excuse me, would you mind if I borrowed your pants? I'm struggling to think of a reason here on this. Would you mind if I borrowed your pants? Or would you like to borrow my pants? I don't get it. I'm sorry. I don't get why it is that you'd be considering loaning or borrowing underwear. But John, I agree with you 100%. That is definitely something that you would neither loan nor borrow. Yeah. Excuse me, would you mind if I borrowed your pants? I'm chalking that one up to experience, John. It's not something I've ever done, and it's not something I'll ever do.
Mark Denholm.
At breakfast. Podcast.
7:25 morning then. This is Mark Denholm at breakfast on Atom Radio. I'm working on a Friday. I was thinking yesterday while doing shopping, there is never ever discount, is there, on the shopping for doing your own scanning? And especially if you go in and you've got one of those cars and you can just do the scan as you go. Then you just go in and you dock your scanner and it charges you. There should be a discount, should there not? Because you're doing their work for them. You know, if you do DIY, you don't have to pay for the person to come and do it for you, do you?
Mark Denholm.
At breakfast. Podcast.
It does seem somewhat unfair, does it not? That when you're younger, if you can grow a big, thick beard, that could mean you go bald. It seems unfair, doesn't it? Being able to grow a thick beard when you're young means that you are more likely to lose your hair when you're older. Not fair. And why does male pattern baldness generally only affect the head rather than the face as well? Again, not fair. I'd gladly trade even my stubble for having my hair back. I genuinely would. But there you go. And shopping. Look at the price increases in shopping. It's down to salads. Those that eat healthy are the reason that the interest rates went up again because inflation went up. So if you eat salads, it's your fault that we're all paying more. But in terms of the shopping though, right, you are doing their work for them, aren't you? If you do the self-scan or if you take the little scanning gun round with you and do the scanning, you're doing their work, and yet it's no cheaper than if you go to an ordinary checkout and have them scan it for you. How is that? Check out the show live and don't forget to subscribe.
Mark Denholm.
At breakfast. Podcast.